Hey everybody, it's Cory from CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, and I just saw Ocean's 8, directed by Gary Ross and written by Gary Ross and Olivia Milch. So first off, before we get started, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my beloved Washington Capitals who just won the Stanley Cup. I'm so happy. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on that, be sure to check out the The Anthem podcast, available every Tuesday on your podcatcher of choice. But for the meantime, go Caps. I caught this film at the Regal LA Live. I'm sure you all have seen the video by now. And I talked about it in the video, but I had never actually experienced a screening inside of the premiere cinema theater. And this time I did. I got to actually go into the balconied Theater 1, and it was great. I really enjoyed the experience in there. Now I think I've seen all the major rooms inside of Regal LA Live. It only took me, 15 times or something like that to see them all. But it's great. I would definitely recommend. It was like $1 more to go see it there. Definitely worth the extra buck. And usually MoviePass doesn't support that type of screening, but I think probably because it was Ocean's 8 and maybe they have some sort of agreement with MoviePass or something like that. Maybe they allowed the special screening, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend you check it out. And if you haven't seen the video for my Regal LA Live experience, right up there. On to Ocean's 8. We start with Sandra Bullock playing Debbie Ocean, going through basically an early release. She's trying to get probation. She's been in jail for something that wasn't really made clear exactly. I mean, it was something that had to do with Claude and a heist of some kind, but not anything on the level of what she's planning on doing as soon as she gets out. She catches up with Lou, played by Cate Blanchett, and they work out the plan, all the details, and start working on bringing all the extra people who would need to come in, the whole 8 members of the crew, to pull off the heist, which is stealing some famous Cartier jewels off the neck of Daphne Kluger, played by Anne Hathaway, an actress who is going to be at the Met Gala, one of the most exclusive parties of the year and one of the hardest things to steal. Now, I'll say up front, I've never really been the heist movie type. I haven't seen any of the more recent Ocean's movies, just because it never felt important enough for me to go see right away. I'm sure if these were all available in the age of MoviePass, I probably would have seen them all. But it just sort of like, I don't know, I never really caught it. I know that I saw the original Ocean's movies way back when in the day, probably on Turner Classic with my mom. But, I mean, just in general, I've never really seen much interest in sort of the heist movie ideal. But, I mean, this one was fun. There was lots of interesting bits to it. I thought that it was an incredible cast, though I felt that a lot of the abilities and talents of the people who were in it were kind of wasted. It sort of felt like when you see a movie like Avengers or any superhero movie that has an incredible cast of truly phenomenal actors who just don't ever get a chance to really stretch their wings and do the thing that allows them to be the best version of themselves, just because they're sort of trapped in the genre of which they're acting. Let me start with this. I think that what I like about Ocean's 8 is that Hollywood is finally trying to start to focus on being more inclusive to the idea of women-led films. And obviously we had Ghostbusters, which was a sort of female version of the original that was, not as good as the original, but it's hard to really do that. And I think that everyone had their best intentions of coming into Ocean's 8, making one that was just as good as the Ocean's 11, 12, 13, and just not really, like, you find the actresses that you think will do the best job, you find really talented people, and then just they don't create characters that these people can really live in. I mean, it's hard to find an actress better than Cate Blanchett, and she just feels sort of one note the whole time. I have loved Sarah Paulson for as long as I've known about her, and it just seems like she doesn't have anything to really work with in this. And, you know, Sandra Bullock is very charming and charismatic, but then in this movie it just seems like the charm and charisma is just sort of a one-note deal to try and get to the eventual succession of the heist. It felt like we were getting 70% of all of these people at best, and it sort of felt short. Now, I will say, production design, sound, especially the cinematography, were all incredible. It was a very well done job by everybody involved in making this thing look as good as humanly possible. When the story isn't there, when the screenplay isn't there, when the direction isn't there, it just feels kind of like it's just a missed shot. I'll also say this, and this isn't meant as a slight to these actresses in particular, but I mean, Mindy, Kaling, Awkwafina, Rihanna, and Helena Bonham Carter are all very talented actresses in their own right. They all have things that they bring to the picture, but it just felt like none of them were really best suited to, like, you know, when you're putting Mindy Kaling into a more or less dramatic role and putting her in the same room as Sarah Paulson, it's not the same level. It's putting college players next to pro players in a professional setting. Like you can see the difference, and it's not that Mindy Kaling isn't an incredible performer who can do comedy extremely well. It's just that you're not putting her in the best position to succeed, and it makes it look like it's a failing on her part. And I mean, like, I feel like Helena Bonham Carter, for one, just like she's trying really hard, but she's also more of a character actress, for lack of a better term. It just feels like they're trying to shove her into a character that is also a natural person, but also a character, and it just doesn't work. And Rihanna, I mean, like, there was a lot of hooting and hollering to Rihanna on screen anytime she was there when I was in the theater. She's fine. I saw her in bits and pieces in Valerian, and that was, sure, terrible, but, you know, it wasn't Rihanna's fault. And, you know, Rihanna didn't really, like, raise or lower the expectation of this film. It was just like, I don't know. I don't know how you spend the time getting Cate Blanchett and Sarah Paulson and Sandra Bullock and Anne Hathaway, and then everybody else is just sort of meant to catch up to their abilities, and nobody, regardless of their abilities, is being given the opportunity to really succeed the way that they should. And that, at the end of the day, that's the ultimate fault of this movie. Shh. Be very careful. Don't trip the laser wire, because it's leaderboard time. Once again, I saw this movie at Regal LA Live. Another one for the notch up here. As far as the leaderboard goes, I mean, like, you know, again, this might just be my thing, is like not enjoying the heist movie type of thing as much myself. I mean, like, there's certainly ones I really enjoyed. I liked like Gone in 60 Seconds is like a heist movie in a way, but it's not. That was way more fun than this one was, and something that I enjoy watching again. I don't know if I would ever say to myself, like, oh, I need to see Ocean's 8 again. If Ocean's 9 comes out and, you know, it looks like it's worth seeing, then I'll probably check it out anyway, especially if MoviePass is still in business at that point. But I just don't. I don't know. It kind of fell short. And it's not that it's bad, it's just not as good as it could possibly be. So I'll give it a 6.9. Again, looking for something to do, looking to pass some time. It's not an outrageously long movie. It does sort of drag a little bit at the end, but you know, it's a fun time, and I think it's important to support this sort of idea of getting more talent. There's way more talented actresses out there than talented actors, and I would find it easier for me to try and cast a movie full of incredibly talented women than it would be incredibly talented men. And I hope that more projects come where there's more female leads in the movie than male leads, but this was just not executed as wonderfully as it could have been. So that's basically it. Anywho, if you want more from me, you can go to my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com. Check me out on Facebook /CoryBakerFilm, or on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @LegendCB5. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with somebody who might enjoy it. Somebody who's going like, I don't know if I should see Ocean's 8. Send this along to them. Just see if this helps making the decision-making process. But yeah, that's it for me. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go steal some valuable jewels.